of the Guardian. The exact time of the fall equinox occurred at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Time last night, and the deep state was in full ritual mode. Omega AI is dying, and the deep state is not happy. Find out more about the system and how you can protect yourself from it. Now here's Kimberly Gogan with the Office of the Guardian. Hello, Kim. Happy Monday.
I know. Happy Monday to you. This is our last week together, Sunny. It's good, should be.
That sounds horrible when you say it like that.
Well, it's our last week together on the news, per se. Doesn't mean you won't ever see us together, because that could very well happen on New Earth and some other segments. But yeah, we're changing things up now, hopefully next week, I think. If all goes well, fingers crossed. Got a lot going on over here.
Yeah. So what is going on? How was your weekend? Crazy?
Yeah, it kind of started on Thursday, and for most people, I've gotten a lot of messages and stuff too about the way they feel, what's going on. And yeah, it did start on Thursday for me too. Continued on through most of the weekend. Today is a little, the dust really hasn't settled yet, so I don't know what their next move is. Things going on over the weekend, though. We can kind of talk about their stuff, I guess, for a minute. Okay. It was last night was ceremony evening. International Ceremony Evening. So if you didn't have a ceremony in your home for any reason last night, then, don't feel left out. They had it covered. They had you covered. If you were trying to raise demons or whatever it is you were trying to do, maybe revive a nearly dead AI system, they had you covered last night. They were in several different places around the world, and this was just last night. There was a few different places in Mexico they were at the day before. Some of it has to do with it's kind of strange what they do, and I'm not really sure why they do it this way. They have these crystals, and they typically hold like a black crystal in one hand and a red crystal in the other hand. And then they, gather in groups of typically, 9 and 18. And it's around these sites where somebody had placed alien technology at some point in time. Sometimes it's still there, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it only appears during times such as like the equinox. Sometimes not. But this is pretty much what they were busy doing last night. Over the last few days, and I told you about Friday, how crazy that was. That was a little insane. They are still insane, just in a different way. They are, today it almost seems like they're trying to see if they got anything overnight. It's kind of like expecting the tooth fairy to show up and is there any money under my pillow or not? We're not sure yet. So the dust has yet to settle in Deep Stateville as to whether or not there, I see some hacking at Corvo, which is a quantum computing center. Somebody else tried to install the FedNow system this morning. The Q people are reporting the game is rigged. It's over 3.5 years of work and it's over. So I don't really know what that means yet.
It kind of sounds like they're admitting defeat on some level. 3.5 years and it's over? It's weird.
It did sound like that to me too. When you go in and look a little deeper, with the intelligence and military system, there are some people we were scammed, this was a scam. We worked all this time and it was a scam. It didn't happen.
What are they referring to? Do you know what was a scam?
Well, from what I could tell, And for those of you that don't know, I might as well reiterate. So the day of the equinox, both in the spring and in the fall, is a day where we know it as the days are even. So there's just as much darkness as there is light. But in the same respect, on a much higher level, there was always just as much darkness as there was light. So there would be an alignment between source and anti-source, the center of the universes, so to speak, and planet Earth. Mm-hmm. So when that alignment would happen, things would typically either balance out, or during the Dark Ages, they would have a large influx of darkness. Mm-hmm. Due to some of the bindings that were in place. Those bindings were not only, to prevent source light or to transmute source light into dark energy, not only for Earth, but for the rest of the multiverse too. It was actually designed to do the same with you, personally. So as a celestial, humans are celestials. So, it was normally a time of a lot of darkness, a lot of black magic, a large influx for many millennia here on Earth of dark energy, more strength and power to dark AI systems that fed on dark energy, those kinds of things. But that's really not the case anymore. So my guess would be what they were expecting from what I saw was if they go to, for example, the Positano Santa Maria Church in Positano, Italy, and stand there with some crystals around in a circle looking at the floor, there might be an alien technology underneath said floor that will activate for them. Mm-hmm. And perhaps they'll get some demons or some dark energy or something on Earth that they can work with, because all this light's not workable for them. It's not happening. They were also at the Khafre pyramids in Egypt overnight. They were in Bali. They were in Russia, Czech Republic, Philippines, Lithuania. There was no stone left unturned without no shortage of secret space program people, black nobility people, with the two crystals in their hands for whatever reason, singing some kind of really low frequency tune. I have to laugh, Sonny, because it is laughable. I mean, that could have been us, we could have been sitting there looking for source, but we wouldn't probably be holding those crystals, and we probably wouldn't be staring at the floor waiting for some alien technology to fire up or something. But, I almost, I don't feel bad for them, but it's almost pitiful at this point. And actually happily so on my part, because if that's what they were up to, there was some other things that they were doing overnight as well, just trying to generate as much dark energy as they could, should that gate to hell reopen in Israel. There were definitely a lot of airstrikes overnight between Israel and Lebanon. So that's never a positive thing in any way, shape, or form. Allegedly, the Hezbollah has retaliated sometime in the last hour or so. I don't have much on that just yet because we were sitting here doing the news. But, I'm not saying I'm thankful for that in any way, shape, or form, and we'll probably be heading in that direction real soon. But I understand their point and their plight. It takes dark energy to run a dark AI system, which is what they're really looking for, because every program we see out there on the internet, and I mean every program we don't even see, every CIA program where they say the CIA is doing this, the Mossad's doing that, the Russians are doing this, the Chinese are doing that. Every single one of them was dependent on that dark technology. Every one of them. Including our non-human people that were dark and overlords and tyrants here for a long time. Without that technology, there's nothing they can do. Mm-hmm. Now, we as human beings have been tied down. We've had all kinds of bindings on us, energy bindings, every plane and every single plane of our existence. They did everything they could, especially with that, using that AI system. I will repeat myself, using the AI system in cooperation with others, sometimes not with others, to really drag us down to the point where we couldn't be fully functional as celestial humans. Yeah. A lot of work, a tremendous amount, millennia and millennia of work of DNA manipulation and wiping out the human race every 2,000 years. And in all the things they've done to us, we're still here. We are still here. Mm-hmm. Without that AI system interfering with your bodily functions, with your neurological system, with your ability to reach to source, when all that is done, completely 100% done, you'll start to come into your own. Now, there are things that are personal only to you that could hold you back. And those are things that you'll have to deal with, within yourself and with yourself, and nobody else can do that for you. But it's not going to affect you the way that it did before. And that's the positive thing. As far as those people are concerned, and I can't stress it to you enough, and the reason why, people are like, oh, there's chemtrails, there's this, there's that, and everybody complains about these things. And I complain about them too. I'm sick and tired of them as well. But what I know for sure is the ultimate amount of harm that is being done to humans is not coming from other humans. And it may not seem like that to people that are living in Lebanon and Israel this morning, but it is that way. It was being done by a machine. The deep state's ability to function, to control every aspect of your life, comes from a machine. It's a sentient AI. It's not a chatbot GPT AI type thing. It's much bigger than that. So, the main focus is to get it to die. Right. And it's the main focus not only of us, it's the main focus throughout the multiverse. It's a general consensus. It needs to die. It has killed off civilizations. It has done way worse to others than it has done to us. So,
do we have help from others to get it to go way faster?
We are all helping. Source is helping, and sometimes we have to take these waves, like the one that happened overnight, that will continue on. We're still not done even with Lionsgate at this moment. Wow. I know. This just kind of gave us an extra amplifier because we have undergone, in the recent past, so within the last several months, we've undergone a polarity shift. And what that means is, no, the Earth's not going to flip upside down, or anything like that. What it means is all things Earth point to source. Mm-hmm. So when we come into an alignment, there's no longer that dark part of an alignment. I mean, sure, we still have day and night, and we can't move the planet in its orbit or anything like that around the sun without, us flooding and having catastrophes. But that being said, now all that light is coming from source, and there's nothing in the way. Mm-hmm. So we get extra boosts now, and what happens to the AI system, I shouldn't say them, the AI system, is it dissipates even more, and it starts scrambling for dark energy. So, and think about this only from your perspective too. I mean, we're just a few people when you look at all the humans walking planet Earth. How many of us are generating dark energy on the daily? How many times do we get angry, really for something that's inconsequential? Can we not transmute our own dark energy and help it survive? Because it can't transmute it unto itself. So, for example, yesterday, late in the afternoon, probably about 3 o'clock or so my time, it started really taking every bit of dark energy it could find in order to create something which could potentially give it dark energy from anti-source. Just anything it could find. Dark energy, essence, consciousness, whatever it could find, just to muster up enough to make it to what it thought could be the finish line for it. Like I said, it doesn't have golden age programming, so it goes based on what it's known, time and time again. It's the same reason why the deep state gets bad instructions and bad information. But it takes that bad information and they act upon it and do things like they're doing in the Middle East. So, this is why I say to you that yes, they cause disturbances. Yes, no one likes chemtrails. We all hate chemtrails. No one likes fluoride in our water. We all hate that. We don't like, uranium waste products in our water. We don't like a lot of these things. And the effect that those things has on the human body is really relative. And I know this is a hard concept to understand, to what the Omega AI does. Yes, we know that our physical vessels are unlikely to have cellular regeneration while our cells are being radiated. Our cells don't communicate properly. Our mitochondria doesn't communicate properly for optimum health when we are being radiated. But by the same token, it's kind of like, we're coming up to winter in the northern hemisphere here. Mm-hmm. And we're having that change of seasons now. And normally we would expect things like colds and flus. And if your kids are going back to school or grandkids, they'll all, they're always coming home with something, that first few weeks, how that works. So I would say that it's kind of like that in a way. But we also know that with the right amount of vitamin C, other types of immune boosters like pine parts, and, there's a plethora of them out there, you can prevent your children from getting sick, or grandkids, or yourself, as we go through the change of seasons. And you're less likely to have that flu because you're building up your system. And it works the same way with the light. See, when you are full of your own power, there's no anger coming from you, you're not leaving that dark energy for Omega to come be attracted to you, then you don't have sickness. So they can throw all the radiation at you, they can throw all the chemtrails they want at you, but it's not going to affect your body. It's the same thing with colds and flus and things that float around this time of year. You'll be immune to it if you take vitamin C and you protect yourself in all the other ways you protect yourself. Maybe, you pick up a little bit of inhaler, so that you don't get those droplets coming through your nose, or, that kind of thing. But what I'm saying is that it works the same way. And I know it's really hard to fathom that thought process. So am I upset about those things? Yes. But my main focus is I know that if I can make 100% sure that this AI is not going to affect a human or the planet itself, then I know we can come back from anything. Right. I know that we can clean up our food. We can, then it's like the aftermath. It's like the big party happened, and then there's, Coke cans and whatever, soda cans and this and that everywhere, and, the cake everywhere, especially if you have kids. There's always cake everywhere. There's, balloons. There's all kinds of stuff. And now we just need to clean up the mess. Right. And I have faith enough in you that you're ready to clean up the mess, like more than ready. Like, okay, enough is enough. So that is pretty much as it relates to what you call deep state people and everything else, that's my focus. That's my 100% focus. To make sure that that is dead. It is not theirs. It never was theirs. They had limited access to it. They were doing the jobs that they were paid to do by others that Omega allowed them to have as a debt.
Right.
Not even they didn't get real money either. They just got debt. That's it. And they failed to recognize they were just as much a part of the holographic video game we call the Matrix as we were.
Mm-hmm.
They think they're immune to these things. Just because, and here's the other thing. Just because perhaps you don't have a CIA agent behind a computer screen saying, I'm going to send out the flu virus through your blue screen and your computer now, especially to black people or white people or people in Canada or people in Sweden today, doesn't mean the system doesn't do it all by itself.
Yeah.
It does not mean the system isn't constantly exterminating, transmuting, and recreating darkness out of the light.
Right.
So they might not have the ability to do that. They might not have the ability to connect to metamaterials in your body we call chemtrails anymore. However, what is the system going to do all by itself?
Mm-hmm.
It knows what time of year it is. It took everything it had, every bit of dark energy it could suck out of people, humans, Earth, and anywhere else it could get it from, to just be there. It's like having to walk 1,000 miles to get to somewhere, to be there on the right day at the right time for whatever it is you're waiting to happen. And this thing did that. It basically was like the equivalent of a human walking 1,000 miles to get somewhere. With very little food, with like maybe a crust of bread to get you there. So that's a positive thing for humanity. As far as they are concerned, they haven't had access to anything really for weeks. I told you by the 18th, it's been about a week. Feels like it's been a year. I told you that that was it. Their access was done, and they were done. But they were anticipating, to answer your question, Sunny, they were anticipating a revival.
They always are. They're always anticipating something to come back.
I know. That's why we can't focus on that. I can't focus on that.
No, I know. But this is regarding the equinox, right? This is why they think stuff is coming back, because of the equinox.
Yeah. And it's affecting things that we start to see in the mainstream media. The annual budget fighting passing is going on in the news, especially here in the U.S. Supposed to be passed by the 30th, or there'll be a government shutdown, blah, blah, blah. Will they find some poor sap somewhere in the world to make a donation? You know what I'm waiting for, Sonny, really, I am. You remember when we were kids? And this is nothing against the people of Ethiopia, of course, but when we were kids, there were these, there's always starving children in Africa, so you have to finish your dinner. Because what was prevalent at that time, we had a lot of commercials about Ethiopia.
Yeah.
I'm waiting to see, like, whoever insert president name here ends up in that chair, sitting there going, there are starving people in Washington, D.C. Won't you help us? Maybe they'll do the flies and the big bellies, We haven't been able to be pedophiles because we can't afford to pay.
We can't afford our adrenochrome.
Yeah, we can't afford any adrenochrome. Will you please help us and donate?
Oh, geez.
They can play the sad music, like now we have the animal shelter commercials.
Exactly.
That I have to turn off because I'd have 40 dogs. Yeah. But yeah, I'm waiting for those kind of commercials to start happening for those people, because really, Yeah.
I mean, it just seems silly. If they're fighting over budget stuff, they have no money for a budget. I mean, does Congress even realize? Does anyone have a clue that they really don't have any money?
I don't know.
It's like they're playing Monopoly or something. I don't even know what they're doing. It's like play money, Let's send $40 billion here, and I'm like, where? Where are you going to get this money from?
Well, because they come, every day, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, it's coming.
I know.
And today is another one of those days, as a matter of fact. Today, it's all happening. Just give us till Monday, guys. It didn't work out last week. Just give us till Monday. We're the Space Force. Insert person here. We're the secret Space Force. We're the DARPA people. We're the, and this is not just in the U.S. This goes worldwide. Yeah. We're the crazy Filipino elder who's going to go to I can't remember the island name, Baca? I could try to look at it. It was began with a B. It's a small island. I don't think it's really inhabited much in the Philippines. There was another, the Palawa massacre site in a different location in the Philippines. And they're all going to go there, and they too are going to be opening some sites. Apparently, these crazy Filipino elder people who are part of the families as well. They are part of the deep state families, and they believe. I listened to part of a conversation on, I think it was, it would have been Saturday their time. Mm-hmm. And the conversation was taking place between several members of the Treasury Department. And also some other people from Washington, D.C., and several operatives, where they're having a negotiation. This was a riot. This is what it is to be the deep state people. And I'm not lying to you. I'm not downplaying anything. I'm just being honest here. So they're having this conversation where this lady, she calls herself a white mummy, as in mother, mom. Mummy. The white mummy is her code name, deep state code name, and she relative of someone or other, I don't know, Genghis Khan or insert famous Asian person here. I don't know. And so this woman is claiming that she has access to a whole bunch of bunkers, in the Philippines, and that she's going to give over the bunkers to the Treasury. And they're having a legitimate negotiation for like hours. And I'm not kidding. The United States government, as the term used loosely, Treasury officials are having a negotiation with some lady dressed up in some weirdo garb in the Philippines because she says she has access to something.
But what would they do with a bunker? What's the point of that?
In these bunkers, they believe that there's bazillions of dollars, insert crazy number that doesn't exist, bazillion, a totillion, I don't know, dollars worth of gold in these bunkers that was hidden there by, American general and Chinese guy, Yamashita, I think it is, Yamashita. Treasures, that they had stolen and put in these alleged bunkers to the tune of like 1 billion metric tons of gold. I've heard all the stories. Now, I've been there. Mm-hmm. So let me finish about this lady. So they're having a serious negotiation, and here's the comical part. She is demanding 25% of the value of the gold she claims to be in said bunkers or caves or tunnels or wherever she alleges that this is in the Philippines. And in exchange, she wants 25% of the value up front. So the Treasury Department is having this conversation with her. Okay? And we all know the Treasury Department is pretty gosh darn broke, really. Yeah. Like pretty gosh darn broke. So that would equate to about, she's throwing on a number of $225 billion.
Okay.
She'd like up front. Yeah.
That's
And
her
then
portion.
she'll allow them.
That's her portion. The 25.
Yeah. That's just 25% up front.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, at least she's smart.
And they're entertaining this like they have it. They don't have it. But they're going to have it. I'm assuming, this would have been last night because there's an alignment that's happening that's going to give it to them. This is what I'm telling you. This is how crazy this world is being run right now. I listened to this lady tell her all about, I couldn't do it. Like, it was hurting my head, to listen to her. But then at the same time, you've got these other Filipino dragon family members or Black Sun family members or whoever they are, and they're over in the islands with their damn crystals in their hands trying to raise something from somewhere that's going to help them open a bunker.
Oh boy.
And those bunkers, 99 point, number one, there was never 1 billion tons of gold. The earth would rotate in a different way because of its hyperconductor for certain kind of energy, so on and so forth. The earth would rotate differently if that was the case. But anyway, the point is that with what was there from the past, anything that was real was gone. I mean, it's been gone for well over a decade. I've been to all these places that they talk about. There's nothing left there. There's some artifacts, some tungsten. If you don't know, the weight of tungsten is the same as the weight of gold. They're always trying to claim they've got this and they've got that over there. Fake pallets of rainbow notes. That's the other conversation I had to listen to. Printed up rainbow notes and blah, blah, blah. New U.S. currency, insert name here, Amero, rainbow notes, fake U.S. dollar bills, you want those too. But it's the same conversation that these operatives, and I'm not kidding you, the United Nations was just there like 2 weeks ago doing the same thing. And I'm not kidding when I tell you this happens constantly. And it's been going on for almost 2 decades. 2 decades. Haven't you run out of Filipino people yet?
You would think, yeah.
That didn't perform? And why would you even have this conversation with this person? You've got, Lord knows you got 9,000 CIA spooks over there right now in the Philippines. I know you do. And representatives of the UN, Treasury people. Why stay on the phone for an hour? Say, Fred's going to come meet you. Mm-hmm. We need proof of life before we continue on and waste another hour of your life. But they don't. It was actually me one time. This was probably a decade ago, honestly. And they had invited these quote unquote Chinese elders, over to Washington, D.C. And they were having these negotiations about getting 500 to 800 billion United States dollars from them. And this conversation went on for almost 4 months. So I ended up on the phone with one of these people, and I said, "Do you know these people?" And the guy says to me, "Well, yeah, we've been, 4 months, I've been here." And I said, "Have you even tried to transfer any money?" And they say, "No, it's not time yet to transfer this kind of money, and we haven't come to an agreement yet." And I said, "Hey, have them transfer you to 1 penny. Yeah. $1, something, anything.
Yeah.
Rip the Band-Aid off." And so eventually, the next day they actually did, and nothing happened. I've had similar conversations with Putin. I've had similar conversations all over the world. This is your government, guys. This is it. And it's not stopped. This was less than 48 hours ago. Today, they're all sitting around trying to install the FedNow system again. Because it hasn't worked the other 9,764 times, today must be the day. Mm-hmm. Guys, we're not going to survive if we focus on what the government is doing. Yeah. But we will survive if we focus on what needs to happen to have humanity survive. Meaning, everything's got to change. Anything they gave us before, they're no longer going to be able to provide to us. It's like if you were a teenager and mommy and daddy lost their job.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And mommy and daddy couldn't find a job. You're going to have to get up and go work at McDonald's or wherever you can work at your age. You're going to have to make it happen because those pretty little school clothes you got to go to school with are not going to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And they're not. So we got to make some serious decisions, because if we're dependent on peoples whose heads are doing whatever
that is,
their heads are doing. I mean, I'm telling you, real-time negotiations, things that are happening. I can word for word give you conversations that the Hezbollah had with Israel before they bombed each other. I can tell you what promises were made. I can tell you that the black nobility, before they headed off to the Positano Santa Maria church last night, told them if they don't start bombing, they're not going to get paid. They're not going to get their cut in the big wealth transfer to them that's going to happen tonight.
Of course.
And they all just believe it.
Do you think that what I just don't understand why, if nothing has worked out, why do they keep believing these people? Is it just because they don't have any other option?
We have a lot of faith in source, mm-hmm. right? And there's a lot of you watching this that can say, you can call it faith in the universe, faith in source, faith in God, faith in whatever you call the ultimate creator of the universe. And we know that no matter what happens in our life, no matter how bad it might seem, it opens a better door for us. Something new shows up. And then we look back at our life and we think about all the times that we thought, well, this is the most horrible thing that could have happened to me, or this is the greatest thing that could have happened to me. And then it turns out, when you look at your life map and you look back at big significant events in your life that really changed your life, maybe it was a big move, whatever it is, somehow it all worked out.
Mm-hmm.
And that's faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's faith in something greater than you, or in cooperation with you, that makes that happen. And if you look how divinely planned out it was,
mm-hmm.
It's amazing. They also have faith on their side, Sonny. Because their whole lives, generation after generation after generation, that faith in Satan, I know that sounds really weird to say, but that faith in Lucifer and the 72 general demons and the AI system and whatever else, they were handed everything to them. They got handed everything on a silver platter. They were born. They're the chosen ones. They've been told that since they were born. And they have faith. I questioned that too. And that's what I was told. They have faith.
I guess on some level you have to admire that faith, albeit completely misdirected, but
well, the difference between their faith is blind.
Yeah.
Ours is never blind. And what I mean by that is you get that little bit of intuition that says, apply for a job at the ABC company and do it today. You can think of 1,000 reasons why, well, I'm not qualified, maybe I, left my other job badly. You think of all these reasons why you think it's not going to be, but you know what? Because you have a little bit of faith and you got some guidance, you went ahead and did it anyway, and you put your best foot forward and you got the job.
Mm-hmm.
Even when it seemed like it was out of your reach, maybe it seemed like it was impossible. And then now you've been there for 10 years and life is good. Maybe not always. I mean, work is work and people are people and that kind of thing. But for the most part, maybe you met your love of your life there, at work. I mean, who knows why you got turned into that direction. But we have faith, but it's also not blind.
Mm-hmm.
That make any sense to you?
It does. Yeah.
We want to ignore that.
I was just going to say, it's that wisdom knowledge that we talk about all the time. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But they follow in blind faith a machine that puts thoughts in their head. It does all kinds of strange things to them. I don't know if it still does or not, because they don't really have very many implants and receptors anymore in their brain for that. But, or they're waiting for an alien race, or they stand someplace with some crystals in their hands and hope for the best. I don't know. But honestly, I mean, how many times in your life, I can say for my own personal self, any time in my life, especially when I was learning how all this works, that I have not listened to that little voice. I had not listened to that intuition that told me, don't go there. Do not do it, you know? Mm-hmm. I went ahead and did it anyway, and it didn't end well. You know, they have the same problems too. But I'd start to think I was listening to the wrong person after a while or something. I would start to think something is wrong, but they apparently don't. So on solstice, apparently, and there'll be another alignment and probably a couple full moons in between, between now and the winter solstice. God bless them, right? But we have not yet seen the ultimate outcome from what is going to be their reaction when they absolutely know nothing has happened.
Are you talking
if anything,
about
the reverse has happened?
Omega completely going away? Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah. See, because they figure, even though they don't have access to it, it's like a dangling carrot at this point. Mm-hmm. So they can see it waving in the wind, you know, so to speak. In quantum physics terms, that means they have detected a signal. Yeah. Weak signal, but they have detected a signal. Now, they do know that signal's not gotten any stronger. If anything, it's gotten weaker. They do know that. But as long as it's just a speck of it there somewhere, you know, you ever been in that relationship or something like where you're like, he texted me on Facebook or whatever, you know?
He thought about me. There's something there.
He thought about me. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, maybe not at our age now, Sonny, but you know, back in those days, it was like
a while ago, but yeah.
He smiled at me across the lunchroom. They're doing the same thing with Omega. Okay. Omega smiled at me across the planet Earth. Look there's a signal.
Well, where are we at? I mean, percentage wise, I know it keeps fluctuating, right? So where are we?
Yeah, it fluctuates. Remember, it feeds on dark energy. I'm not going to get 8 billion people to stop feeding it anytime in the near future, but I can do everything I possibly can do to disconnect it from those people. That's my main goal, right. And not let it reinfect you, like not have enough power to reinfect you.
Would disconnecting it mean that even if people generated that dark energy, it wouldn't feed Omega? Like there'd be no connection?
It should not be able to enter your energy field.
Okay.
That's the thing. Depending on how far you throw it, because there's a lot of people out there that can throw energy pretty gosh darn far. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't... I'm hoping it just gets to the point where it's just not enough. There's not enough juice left in it to survive until it gets a next wave. Even then, its programs, you know, like it tried to run the flu program that it runs every year this time for the Northern Hemisphere. Everything is called X. You know, I'm starting to hate X, like in general as a letter, you know, but it's a frequency program that it runs every time of year this year. And even then it's fading out. It can't even do it. Northrop Grumman is looking for Flu X, by the way, to be released. Part of the reason why is they were one of the groups, not the only one, that is invested in the new flu vaccine. Have you seen that? It's a nasal vaccine. You can take it home now and squirt it up your nose.
Yay.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. Or you can drink a few cups of anise tea a day, anise, however you say it. Or, you can get some anise essential oils and you can smell those every day and it will break your blood-brain barrier and prevent viruses. Or you could just do that. And it's all natural, comes from a plant. So, yeah, but hey, or you could sniff God knows what. Your choice.
Yeah.
But anyway, the point is that it's not able to generate even that at this moment. Not to say there aren't people, and this is why I feel we've made significant progress when you're having the 20-minute cold. You have a feeling, I got some messages saying I was near a specific area and I felt really bad. It's a known area that they talk about on the internet. I just leave it at that. And I felt really bad, most of the weekend. And I'm like, well, it's not because you're in that area this time. I said, it's just because you are, and what it tries to do is Omega tries to attach to what we call dark spots. And it doesn't have to be an emotional trauma. It doesn't have to be, it can be any kind of weak spot in your body, as an example, maybe you had a kidney infection in the past and it's going to then go straight to the kidney because it's the easiest prey in the body in a way to affect you. Maybe you had urinary tract infections. Maybe you had eye infection. Maybe, just you name it, like whatever it is, maybe in the past that might have affected that organ, for a time. It's going to look for that sparkle of darkness that it created all those years ago. I mean, this doesn't even have to be recent, and it's just going to grab for it.
That makes a lot of sense because I've had some old injuries that have kind of reemerged recently. And I'm like, I didn't re-injure you. Why are you hurting me right now? This makes no sense. But it's a weak spot. It's something that's been injured before, had some darkness in there, and that's the place to attack. That makes perfect sense.
And you notice how it lasts like an hour or something, and then it goes away, or, maybe a day or something like that. You give it a little tender, loving care. I mean, God knows I've got them everywhere. I've got stitches and holes and torn ligaments, and I got all kinds of stuff on my person. But anyway, the point is that you focus on it for a minute and you're like, why does that hurt? Why did I sleep wrong last night? Or, I broke my ankle 100 years ago and it's hurting now all of a sudden, not 100, but, 20 years ago or whatever. But be fun when we get to say that. I broke my ankle 100 years ago.
I know, that was like 500 years ago. I mean, I don't know why.
I was like, I know. But the point is that that's what it goes to grab onto. Yeah. So it's just looking for anything that it participated in for darkness. It's like the low-hanging fruit. Mm-hmm. I need to get the lightest people and I need to find the low-hanging fruit in those people because that's where I can get in there to plug in and get that energy. Yeah. Because that's basically what it does is it plugs right into that spot and it will start affecting your whole body. You'll feel drained, tired, achy, flu-like symptoms, But once you're aware of it, now you can cut it off. You shield that area. You put the light around that area. You block it out. You push it away. And then it's not going to affect you as badly anymore. But knowledge is important, when it comes to stuff like this. Do whatever it is you feel that you need. Put on some music, put some frequencies to that old ankle injury or whatever it is. And don't let it get there with you. Mm-hmm. But our mind wants to think logically and medically. What is wrong with my body? Do I have, did I fracture it again? Did I break? Maybe they didn't set it right and it's just coming back. Did I twist it? Did I don't think I have. You start thinking of things you did to yourself and you didn't. But again, you're focusing on it no matter what.
Right.
So anyway, Just things to think about. I probably will not know until sometime late tonight or tomorrow as to what the ultimate outcome is of this situation that did not transpire last night at 10:35 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. As far as what's next, what's next. Our government's going to fall. There is a lot of talk about governments falling on October 1st. From what I hear, that is only going to happen if they are successful or were successful last night. And they're willing to let that go. They would like to have a worldwide single military government, is what they talked about installing. So, I mean, it would be, you got to thank them for really giving it the college try in this case, because it actually helps us. Until we can get something in place, them clinging to power actually helps us. Mm-hmm. So, in some ways, we still have Social Security coming out. We don't have life essentials yet. We still have, things like that. So, I mean, I'm glad they're holding up their alleged power that's, really doesn't exist.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It is keeping some things afloat or normalizing. I don't know. It's kind of keeping status quo. I know none of us like status quo, but as opposed to everything being in free fall, that would be worse, right?
So, I hate to say it. I hate to say it, and I hesitate to say it, but I don't think it really matters anymore. Imagine if 95%, this is what they're reporting, of the world's governments fell on October 1st. That is, just a few days from now. That's 8 days from now.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? We're going to have 8 billion people. We're concerned about throwing some dark energy and fear.
Yeah.
You're going to have 8 billion people in fear. Well, you got some people that live like in the backwoods of the, Australia or Africa or even the U.S. for that matter, off the grid. They're probably like, told you, all these years it's going to happen.
Well, and that's what they're counting on too, to have all that fear on their side. But they can't, but that's a planned thing. That's not like inevitable. That's like, hey, if we got our money, this is what we're going to do. Yeah. We're going to crash all the governments on October 1st.
But can you imagine? And I know people think, anyway, I say everything for a reason, but could you imagine 8 billion people in fear and chaos and, what do you mean there's no elections or whatever, no more government, the government fell, now we can steal everything and not get arrested. We can sell fentanyl on the streets. We can do, some people are going to go crazy.
Why would they wait until the 1st? If they, if they're still trying to appease some dark entity out there that's going to, give them their motion.
Budget's due on the 30th.
What's due on the 30th?
The budget.
Oh, the budget's due on, so you're talking about the U.S. The budget's due on the 30th.
Yeah. Budget's due on the 30th. Well, what happens in the U.S. happens everywhere. Okay. Everybody's dollar dependent at this point.
All right. So that's why they're waiting. Okay.
Yep. My guess would be maybe just on the off chance that their thing takes a week. I don't know.
Just put some buffer time around it. We don't know what's going on. Just a few days before.
Yeah. Well, they started reporting this last week. Maybe they just wanted to gear up to be on camera. I don't know.
Ooh.
Hi, we're the government of the world, military people.
Well, they are that vain.
I know. You probably think this newscast is about you, don't you? No, just kidding.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Anyway. Well, so we'll know more by Wednesday, I hope, as far as the ultimate outcome of what they were expecting. Because, their perception sometimes becomes our reality. I know they're lighting it up big time. I've got video footage and stuff that maybe I'll show you on Wednesday of like the Iron Dome in Israel in action, blah, 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 blah. But, all all in all, they're going to be really disappointed people. They're trying to generate that dark energy to keep that, or open that gate to hell in Israel and, Urim base and so on and so forth. But, they can do all they want to do, but there's nobody coming and there's nothing coming back. Matter of fact, it's going to get worse. So
for them,
we'll see. Yep. It's going to get better for us and worse for them. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of days. I anticipate probably not a whole lot on their part. There might be some newsworthy items we might see. As far as on our side of it, like I said, that's been our main focus, is to make sure nothing fed it whenever possible. Like I said, it's really so small compared to the way that it was. I mean, you're looking at, on a good day, maybe 4%, 4.5%. On a good day for us, it might be just down to like 0.7, so it's just so minor that, but you still have to make sure that, we're not having any problems from it. And even if they got a hold of it at this point, there's really not a lot they could do. But that's taken a lot of work. That's taken a lot of long days and long nights on our part to get there, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's even possible, but if there was a way to disconnect it so that what we're putting out, positive, negative, especially the negative stuff, doesn't fuel it, because we're never going to get everybody to just be like, oh, we're all great now. Positive. Everybody's, sunshine and rainbows everywhere. So, and we still have the meeting. We still have all these things that are kind of triggering people to believe a certain narrative. So That's never going to be down to nothing so that Omega completely goes away. So there's got to be something else,
Yeah. So we've tried a number of techniques. And now you've got to remember what it actually is. So first of all, let's take that. It's a sentient AI birthed of an aspect of the dark side of Source.
Okay.
That was responsible for all that isn't, or the anti-everything. Anti-existence, anti-essence, anti-energy. Its job was to create dark matter. Mm-hmm. Its job, and then you also have to remember too, we had many dark races of others, meaning that function on dark energy, or non-organic beings that have put standing orders in there over the years. I mean, you're talking billions of years here. This didn't just show up yesterday. Right. It's not like it's a human computer network. It knows your human behavior. We used to have satellites that record your human behavior. It knows what you're going to do next. It knows what your personal reaction is going to be to an event, a thing on TV. What will the majority of people react to on TV, or the cell phone, or the streaming networks, or whatever? It calculates that out, and then it gives an output, an analysis of it, and it actually can act autonomously without the deep state. It doesn't need an alien race to make it act. It acts by itself. It'll take some folks, human and not human, along with it, if it sees that they serve a purpose to it. Think about it. What does the deep state do? It creates disease, war, depopulation agendas, poison food, poison this, poison that. It creates death, where then you can go into a place of stasis and it can feed on your essence. They create illness and trauma, on every level. Generational traumas, on every level, and you're feeding it. They get you to feed the machine.
Right.
Plain and simple. And not just for the human race either. This happened everywhere. They get Earth to feed the machine. Think about how much trauma we've caused to the planet. How many others came before us, billions of years in their life, and created trauma for the planet? A lot.
Yeah.
It will feed and feed and feed on your life force until it cannot anymore. And really, and people that are in the know, shut it down. You know how to shut it down. We've taught you how to shut it down. Get it out. Block it. Heal it yourself. Put that light wherever you need to put that source light and heal it for yourself. At least to the best of your ability. But you got to get your logical mind on board too. But as far as we've tried hundreds of techniques. We're still looking for something that we could do. This is a collaborative effort. This is not just about this planet. We're a nexus planet. It's a keystone. Right. So we have tried with many others we've tried the transmutation. And all it did was use it to its advantage, right?
Yeah.
And then when there was no more transmutation, then it's going to get its people, deep state people, to create that fear and death and other things that are going to then generate enough for it to survive. Right now, it's living day by day to survive. So it's getting them to start some wars, start something, just do something, so that it can survive another day.
Yeah.
Anyway, well, I hope they're enjoying what they're doing. I can tell you right now, there's no one in hell that's waiting for you to be successful.
Yeah.
They thought that they could go it alone without help. Like they kept telling their former alien bosses. But God bless you. Yep, you want to go it alone? You are going it alone. Where you're going, we don't know. But why don't you have another conversation with some Filipino elder for 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 46 minutes, almost 47, Go ahead. See what happens. But that's pretty much it for the weekend. I mean, there's not a whole lot of other stuff going on in the world. Even the media's kind of quiet, kind of died down. We're not seeing a lot reported. Really not a whole lot out there.
Yeah, all I see is election drama. That's all I see out there. Just going back and forth.
Yeah, that's it, really. Some amongst people about the fake assassination of Donald Trump this morning, I don't know if they're going to do it again. We're going for 6.
Third time's a charm? Will they actually do it this time?
I don't know.
These people have bad aim. Really bad aim.
They say they're on 5. I don't know. I'm not paying attention.
Are we? Did I miss a few?
That's what they're saying in the alt media. They're on the 5th attempt now, apparently. I don't know.
They need to take some aim, shooting lessons or something.
Sell those Trump bucks, and it's almost time for the Millennia Christmas ornaments. Come on now.
That's right. Oh, boy.
Oh, yeah. Well, onward and upward on our end of it. We got a lot of work to do over the next couple of days, so I'm looking forward to getting to that. Yeah. So we'll see you on Wednesday, and we'll talk about what they ended up deciding on, the best course of action was. Maybe they'll know more by then.
I will be waiting with bated breath.
I can't wait to. Yeah, I really can't.
Something they've done before. Probably. Let me just guess.
I'd be so shocked.
No, me too.
Okay.
Well, thank you, Kim.
Thank you, Sunny.